Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So it's funny, I woke up this morning as Erin Patterson is, not is going to prison for the rest of her life. I felt free. I felt free because I don't have to look at her anymore. I don't have to talk about that awful case. I mean, I will still talk about it, especially when the sentencing comes up. Um, but it was a horrible case, wasn't it? Horrible monster. Now it's over in the sense as the verdict is here, at least. We've still got sentencing to go. There may be an appeal. There'll be things coming out that I'll probably want to talk about. But generally, I don't have to have Erin in my waking thoughts and sleeping thoughts, as she was. Horrible person. So I just want to spare a thought for the people. At the end of the day, we talk about true crime. We talk about different cases, all of which are as important as each other. And the case that I'm going to talk about today, Stuart Everett, totally betrayed by someone I think he loved, really. He was sort of sucked in by his own desire to be loved or to love. Quite often things happen, don't they? People get betrayed by people that they care about, but those people don't care about them, and that's what happened to Stuart. And in a way, of course, that's what happened to Erin's victims. Just nice people, cared about not only Erin, but just loving people, helpful people, betrayed by Erin. This is another similar case. I've been wanting to talk about this case for such a long time. I just have not had time with everything else, with the murder mushroom trial, and then just things that happen, generally. Sorry, I've just had yet another shower. I'm sort of up to about 3-4 showers, cold showers a day now. And I had a shower which I didn't wash my hair, but of course my hair got wet. So, and that was the second shower of the day. Won't be the last one. Won't be the last one, that's for sure. Still very humid here in Spain. It's 30 degrees, which actually is a lot cooler than it has been. But it's very humid. It's not nice. Yeah, come to Spain, they said. It'll be fun, they said. No, not in July and August. But it's only those 2 months, to be honest. The rest of the year it is lovely. So yeah, let's spare a thought before we start with this case. Let's just spare a thought for the victims' families. In Erin's case, or in this case, in any case, we move on to different cases, don't we? We talk about these victims, we remember them, we respect them. And I think that's a good thing to do. But what we mustn't forget is for the families of the victims, they don't move on to another case. They don't wake up one morning and think, all right, let's put that on the back burner. Let's talk about something else. That is their lives. That is their loved one. They're not coming back, They don't move on. They're probably not interested in true crime anyway. And they probably never thought that true crime would come knocking on their door. You can imagine, in many cases, most cases probably, but especially cases with and when I say simple people, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, like simple, like stupid, I mean people like Erin Patterson's in-laws. They were just nice people, just living their nice life, helping people, being part of a community. It's not for everyone, but it was for them, and that they Erin just mocked it, didn't she? Not only she didn't want to live that life, that's fine, isn't it? But to mock it, to make fun of it, to be jealous and envious of it. And I think this is a bit similar in this case that we're going to talk about today. Poor Stuart, he seems like, to all intents and purposes, from what we can make out, obviously I don't know Stuart, but from what people say about him, his friends, his family, the police, he was just a nice guy. You know how they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions? Stuart had good intentions. You know, he was trying to help people. He was teaching English. He was, did his job. He went to work. He wasn't doing anything what you'd call, he wasn't discovering the atom or doing anything like that. But he was just being nice to people. Anyway, so unfortunately it backfired on him. Being nice to people backfired on him. He was nice to the wrong person. He was, let's have a look at him before I get into it properly. Let's have a closer look at him. So here he is with his Christmas hat on. Just reminds me, it's great that, isn't it, when you do your cracker and you're all sat there in your Christmas hats. And the other reason I feel like a real affinity to Stuart, because he's a Mancunian. We're going to Salford in the UK for this case. I'm going to put it up on the Google Maps in a minute. For anyone who's from a different country than the UK, or even from a different part of the UK, you may not know about Salford. Salford's just outside, it's in Greater Manchester, I think, but it's just outside the Manchester boundary. It's a place that was at the centre of all the industrial revolution, etc. And then, of course, with the industrial decline, the area declined. It was one of those places where you would have found the working class, salt of the earth type people at one time, hard working, community spirit. And then as sort of the industrial decline happened in the 20th century, probably when I was living in Manchester, it unfortunately did decline, and there was a lot of problems with, social disorder, etc. Then it had a regeneration, Salford, and, the Salford Quays, Media City was made, and a lot of television programmes now made in Salford. I think that Coronation Street was always made in Salford. I used to go there with my friends. It's Granada Studios, I think, has always been in Salford, I think. And we would hang around outside to try and get glimpses of the Coronation Street stars. And I remember as well seeing people like Francis Lee, who was going for a football sort of interview. He was a footballer for Manchester City. All sorts of people that we used to hang as teenagers. We were the innocent teenagers. We weren't the groupie type teenagers, which of course there were. But let me just check that actually was Coronate. Where is? I'm sure that was Salford. And I've been on the Coronation Street tour years ago. Anyway, it's Media City now. So, and the Salford Quays, like the Dockland properties were made. So it's a more of an elite place now than it used to be. It's in the north of England, in the north of the UK. Any of you are in the north, you will definitely know about Salford. If you're in the UK, but maybe not in the north, maybe you don't know about it. And if you're in another country, of course, I have chatters from all over, don't I? Maybe you don't know Salford. But let's have a look at it on Google Maps. Anyway, that's where we're going for this story. Let's have a look before I do my thanks and say hello to everybody. Yeah, so here we've got Manchester, and Salford, you can see, is just outside, isn't it? Just outside Manchester town centre. It's a very urban area. There are green, well, you can see there's not many green spaces, but there are some green spaces. And unfortunately, this story, just to warn you, will probably put you off going to any of those green spaces. Something sad that happened in the UK in these urban areas, I think, was that, Kersal Wetlands and these areas that you know, unfortunately were used for nefarious purposes in this case. What's sad is sometimes, you know, in these areas, like you'll get the green areas, but they're not safe to go to, because people go there to take drugs or hang around, and you know, it's a shame. It's a shame, because there are some green areas, but not many. So you can see it's quite a big place. We've got Prestwich here. A lot of my family live around this area, Prestwich, Bury, etc. I find this case, I know a lot of the areas that they talk about from when I lived in Manchester until I was around, I think I was about 24 when I left Manchester. I lived in Manchester for 20 odd years anyway, before I went to Reading to live. And to be honest, when I left there, it wasn't that clever. But there has been a lot of regeneration in Manchester and areas like Salford, not only Salford, but other areas. There's been a lot of improvements, you know, so a lot of improvements in Manchester, especially North Manchester. But it needs more, like everywhere else. It needs more. Okay, so I'm going to say thank you now. Now, where am I? Oh, I want to take that off. So yes, thank you so much to all my subscribers, everyone who watches my videos, likes my videos. Do you see how I've got my nails in combination with the banner there? I thought what I'll do, I'm going to do my banner in the same colour as whatever nail varnish I've got on when I'm doing a live video. So yes, thank you to those of you buy me coffees, thank you to those of you send super stickers. Special thank you to my members, of course. I'll see you tomorrow night. I've got a special ghost story to tell you about tomorrow night, along with other things. And what else? Oh yeah, thank you to those of you who send me emails, give me heads up about trolley dollies. Thank you to all of you. Oh, I've had some lovely messages. Now, I don't want you to worry about me. I don't care about the trolls. I really don't. I just wanted them to know that I know. And that was all it was about. I literally haven't thought about it since. I really don't care. But you know what's been good about it is the lovely messages of support that I've had. Thank you so much. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. Okay, so saying that, hi lovely lurkers. Thank you for watching. For those of you who lurk, don't like coming in the chat, thank you anyway for watching. I really appreciate you watching. Hi loathsome lurkers, I'm praying for you still. And hi to replay crew. Thank you so much for watching. And now I am going to come into the chat and see those of you who are brave enough to actually join in the chat. So we've got Julie. Hi, Julie. I'm good today, actually. It is a little bit cooler, isn't it? Julie's also in Spain. I've got 30 degrees at the moment on my computer. I expect it's a lot hotter in Madrid. Hi, Bluebell. You'd probably like a bit of heat at the moment. It's probably freezing where you are because you're at the other side of the world, but not for long, eh? You'll be coming over to visit soon. Hi, David. Hope you're feeling better now. Is it all gone, your virus, etc.? Oh, thank you, Julie. That's really kind. Thank you. Oh, thank you, David. Hi, Daniel. Happy Wednesday. It's another Wednesday. Oh, gosh. Where do the weeks go? Hi, Yvonne. Yes, I've used the air fryer once, Julie. It's a bit small, to be honest. Could probably do with a bigger one, but it works. That's the main thing. It works. Don't have to put the oven on, because the number one son, he has the oven on every day, because he likes making chicken wings. And that's why we got an air fryer, because I thought, it would save electricity, which it has. I think it has saved electricity. But more important than that, it's not always boiling hot in the kitchen, you know, because the oven's on. But also for, you know, I've used it as well. It's not just for him, but yeah, it's a bit smaller than the last one we had. It probably is a little bit too small. So I don't know, maybe eventually I'll get a bigger one. But anyway, it's fine. You know, if you're not making great big meals or whatever, it's fine. Oh, Julie. It's only 2 months old, Julie. Is it not under guarantee? Oh, in fact, that reminds me. Let me show the comments on stage. Is it not under guarantee? Well, I got mine from Alcampo. Don't know if you've got an Alcampo in your area. Oops. Oh, yeah, you probably get nicer weather in the UK, Bluebell. Forgotten what I was saying then. Oh, yeah, I got mine from Alcampo. It was very cheap. That's because it's only a little one. It was only €30. I think then the thing is, there wasn't a medium-sized one. Like the one I got last time, I would have bought the same one again, even though we've only used it for, you know, it only lasted, it's probably been a year. But to be honest, it's used a lot. It's used so much. And that one wasn't very expensive. It was about €40. But they didn't seem to have that medium price one. You went from like €30 to €80. I didn't really want to pay €80. I wanted to pay €40. So I've ended up with this one, which is a little bit small. You couldn't really put many combinations in it. You know, it just one thing at a time in there. Yeah. Yeah. David, I'm sorry to hear you're still coughing. Oh. Yeah, air fryers were a brilliant invention, weren't they? And yeah, a Ninja with 2 compartments, they're expensive. Bluebell. It's like, I looked to they're about €200, I think. I will get, you know, I'd like to get a Ninja, really. They are the best. So, you know, you get what you pay for, don't you? So I've paid €30. I've got what I paid for. But anyway, it's doing the job. It's doing the job. At least don't have to have the oven on. God, every time I'd go into the kitchen, it'd be like sauna. I mean, it's hot enough as it is without having the oven on, isn't it? But because he likes chicken wings, you can only really put them in an oven. There's not really another way you can cook them. So... David giving his cleaning advice. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we've got one. I mean, it's €30. So if it broke after 2 months, it won't matter, would it, really? You know, it's... But I will. It's on the list. Get a better air fryer. Just one thing at a time, isn't it? There's always something. You know, just... If I can get through one day without something going wrong, I'm happy. But, you know, they're small things. They're not important. They're not important in the big scale of things, is it? Like, of course, the car broke down. And now then the air fryer broke down. But, you know, things happen like that, don't they? At Christmas, it was a washing machine. There's always something going on. But these are not important in the bigger scheme of things. So what happened to this man, Stuart Everett? You know, this is such a sad story. As I say, I think it's a sad story because, well, apart from the fact he was murdered, which obviously makes it a sad story. But I think because he was murdered by someone that he described himself as being in a relationship with. And it's just made me think about people who want love. You know, some people are so desperate for love, men and women. You know, and Stuart, it seems like he was describing his murderer who he invited into his home. His murderer was homeless and he invited him into his home to live and described him as his partner. And in the meantime, this horrible person was calculating how to murder him. He planned it, how to murder him, how to take over his identity. Well, not his identity, but to take over his bank balance, you know, to live off everything that he'd worked for. You know, he'd worked for this other person, hadn't worked for anything. You know, he's a parasite. Just awful, awful. So it is a bit like a cuckoo case, David, except, you know, I think there was a relationship here between these two men at some point, because Stuart definitely described his murderer as his partner at some point. Now, whether they were actually partners or maybe just Stuart wanted them to be partners, it seems to me that his murderer, he didn't care about being partners or anything. He was just taking advantage of a good-natured man who was looking for love, almost desperate for love. Some people really are desperate for love, aren't they? It's very sad. And that's why the quotes that I put in the description for this case, you know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Sometimes nice people, they just get treated like shit, don't they? You know, it just awful, you know, how people can take advantage of the niceness of people. So let's learn a little bit about Stuart before we start. Need to find, no, betrayal to me. I mean, listen, all murders are bad. There's no cases that we talk about that aren't bad, are they? But I just think when somebody betrays you, your good nature, you know, it's even worse, isn't it? So who was Vic? So let's talk about Stuart first, because of course he is the most important person, isn't he, in his case? Oh, and just as we go on, I just want to, you know, StreamYard's been messing, I think I told you maybe, they've been messing around with their, you know, improving their bits and pieces, and I'm just working my way around it. And look, they have put on some good things here. Look, I can put this up when I want to, like and subscribe. That's something new from StreamYard. I mean, they should do it because they charge a bloody fortune. They're about €40 a month to be with StreamYard. But I just can't go with anybody else because I don't understand the others. They are user-friendly, StreamYard, I would say. They've got the like, subscribe. They've got a thank you, a little thank you. I should put that up earlier. They've got a like and follow. They've got a Facebook one somewhere as well. I thought I'd put on there, but I don't know where that is. That might be the one for Facebook. But yeah, they've got a be right back. So when I need to take my 9-second toilet breaks or go for another drink, I can put my be right back up. They've also got a little be right back. So yeah, there's others as well. I'm just navigating myself around it. So I think I'll put the like and subscribe up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It means I don't have to put my banners up all the time. But yeah, they have improved StreamYard. But as I say, they bloody charge you for it. So who was victim Stuart Everett and how did he meet his killer? So his killer is, I can't even pronounce his name. I'm just calling him M. Because, do you know what? I don't care about him anyway. I will show you a picture of him. Just, we'll be seeing his arrest anyway. This is him. Now, it's funny, isn't it? Because, you know, they say you can't say from people's faces whether they're nice people or not. But if you look at Stuart's face compared to his face, I'm sorry, I think you can tell. He looks like an evil twonk. He reminds me of a YouTuber that I know. Well, I don't know them. I mean, know of. But I'm not going to mention him because he just looks, he's got that psychopathic look. Anyway, so he first met him because he was teaching English to recently arrived Polish immigrants. He had worked for both the NHS and the Department for Work and Pensions and was known as Benny to his family. He was not married, he had no children. He was a fan of Rat Pack singers, Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. He enjoyed gardening, cricket, and a bet on the horses. So he probably just got on. He's a guy who got on with his life. He never did any harm to anybody. And then, I'm presuming that he was gay. And maybe he was just looking for love when he met this man. So in 2013, he began living in a 3-bedroom terraced house on Worsley Road in the Winton area of Salford. And he started to sublet the other 2 bedrooms. And this M moved in during 2017. And M had worked as a manager at fast food shops in the Trafford Centre. But he was unemployed at the time of the murder, with financial pressures building in the household, and he found himself £60,000 in debt. How could that happen? Because from what I can see about M, he was single too. I don't know how he ended up. Maybe he was a gambler. I don't know. Oh no, he's a father of 2 with his Polish ex-partner. He denied responsibility for the killing but offered no evidence in his defence. And while his motive remains unclear, because this is what we found in the Aaron Patterson case, it's not always a motive. Some people are just psychos. Anyway, apparently he had a fixation with horror and gore, and he had a tattoo of Friday the 13th slasher film character, Jason. Now, that's why? Why? So Detective Superintendent Lewis Hughes said these are all relevant factors in what may have been going on: financial issues, debt, problems paying the bills, potentially a relationship between the 2 of them. Well, Stuart definitely said there was a relationship. He described him as his partner. Now, here he is. Now, I'm going to flip from this now onto the police website, the details of everything. I'm going to read to you from the police website. Oh, my God. The thing is, sometimes, unfortunately, nice people, they can be needy. They need somebody else. They need a relationship. That's how it feels to me. Stuart needed a relationship. He wanted love. He was looking for love. It's so very sad. And he thought perhaps he'd found love in this man. But of course he hadn't. Unfortunately, he didn't know. But he'd actually, signed his own death warrant when he got involved with this man. But how could you possibly know? You could not possibly know, could you? You've always got to be so careful, haven't you, with everything? Just oh, thank you, Bluebell. Yes, I have come a long way with this channel. And StreamYard, it's good. It is good, to be honest. For a technophobe like me, I can't do the OBS thing. I don't like... OBS is free, but I just don't understand how to use it. So, but I can use the StreamYard. That's why I stick with it. Used to be €10 a month, StreamYard. €10 a month. I think they lulled us all into it. Oh yeah, this is good for €10 a month. And then literally overnight, it went up from €10 to €40 a month. Anyway, never mind. It's good. At least it works. So we're now on the police, Greater Manchester Police website. And again, I just want to say, and you can criticise the police as much as you want, and I know sometimes they do the wrong thing. But would you really want to be going looking for remains, bits of people in these horrible places, probably in the rain, and just they deserve a round of applause. I think sometimes we can't underestimate what a difficult job it is. So this all started, this story, as far as publicly started, on Wednesday the 4th of April 2004. So last year, wasn't it? Last year, human remains were found by a passerby. Oh, imagine, just think, God, dog walkers quite often find remains. I don't know if this was a dog walker. It doesn't say that. It says a passerby in Salford's Kersal Wetlands. supposed to be a beautiful place. You know, these places are supposed to be lovely places that people can go to escape the urban city, you know, be at one with nature. And then what happens? You find a torso, you know, just awful. So, unbeknown at the time, what would follow would be one of the most unprecedented investigations conducted by Greater Manchester Police in recent times. It was up to our detectives to uncover what had happened, to identify this person and to ultimately find the killer. I know it's strange, isn't it? Because when you think about all the attention on Nicola Bulley, for example, which I'm not saying she didn't deserve the attention, all these cases deserve attention. But this particular case hasn't had anything like the attention. And yet this is more dramatic, really, isn't it? Even more dramatic. Human remains. Anyway, we did talk about it occasionally. As I say, since the trial and everything, I've been wanting to talk about it. But, you know, as you know, the last couple of months has been totally caught up by the murder case, the mushroom case, and also other things that have been happening. And now it's night because I want to give this guy deserves our attention. He deserves our prayers. His family deserve our attention, and the guy who's killed him, he deserves our hate, if you like, not hate, our outrage. He deserves our outrage, and hopefully he will never come out of prison. And you know, the trouble is, all these cases deserve our attention, but you know what? We can only look at one at a time. So a murder investigation was launched. So it's quite a long time before they realised who the remains belonged to. Do you remember there was initial, you know, there's always initial thoughts it could be anyone, couldn't it? So they'll be looking into all missing people. But I don't know that Stuart had been declared missing at that time. It took quite a while for them to link it up with Stuart. Anyway, it was led by our Serious Crime Division. In the days that followed the discovery of human remains, Kersal Dale was swarmed with police officers, police staff, crime scene investigators and experts, including a forensic pathologist, and the location was declared as a search scene for 12 days. Just a very grim job, isn't it? Recovering remains. While searches were ongoing at Kersal Dale behind the scenes, our Visual Evidence Retrieval and Analysis Unit, VERA, were tasked with searching CCTV from around the Kersal Dale area in the days prior to the body part being located. They were looking for someone who was on foot, carrying something heavy into Kersal Dale. And they found exactly that. On Thursday, 18th of April 2024, they found CCTV footage showing what detectives labelled at the time as unknown heavy bag man. So this man was carrying around Stuart's remains in a carrier bag or some kind of bag. So they called, of course, at the time the police didn't know who was in the bag. They didn't know who was carrying the bag. So they nicknamed him Heavy Bag Man, struggling to carry a bag for life. Oh, what? Oh my God, you couldn't make this shit up, could you? A bag for life. He's using a bag for life. Look, here he is. Down Bury New Road in Prestwich. I know that area so well. Many of my family live around that area. I've stayed in that area. My sister lived there. One of my sisters lived there for years. Not on Bury New Road, but in that area. On the footage, he was visibly struggling and seen passing the bag between his hands and taking time to rest. The weight of the human remains, later proven to be from this bag, weighed approximately 18 kilograms. I mean, that's heavy, isn't it? 18 kilograms in his bag for life. Good God. Unbelievable, isn't it, really? How did he think CCTV? He's another one of them thickos, isn't he? Thickos that think they're intelligent. Of course it'd be CCTV and the police would find it. So he's literally walking down the street with a bag with human remains in it. Scary, isn't it? Because, you know, you feel like every time you pass someone who looks like they're carrying a heavy bag, you're thinking, what's in there? Just never know. Anyway, after extensive work to track this person's journeys, on the morning of Thursday, the 25th of April, Vera was sent out several miles away in the Winton area, looking to collect more CCTV. In attempts to secure further footage of Heavy Bagman in order to identify him, two Vera investigators were driving along Eccles Old Road when they spotted someone who they believed to be an unidentified Heavy Bagman and decided to follow him as he boarded a bus. Now, bear in mind, this guy had no transport, so all the time he was disposing of Stuart's remains, he did it on the bus. You could have been sat next to him on the bus. Oh my God, sat next to him at the bus stop, and he's carrying bits of a body around with him. Poor Stuart. And that's the other thing as well. So it's bad enough that he murdered Stuart. Murder is bad enough just in itself. Then the absolute callousness that he treated Stuart's body. And Stuart was a man who'd been kind to him, given him somewhere to live, thought of him as his partner. And he just didn't give a shit, did he? Didn't give a shit. He's just like, oh yeah, cut him up. No, he didn't leave it on Hi Lily Paulie. He didn't leave it on the bus, Bluebell. He took it on the bus to where he eventually dumped it. So literally, you could have been sat on the bus with him sat next to you with whatever on the seat next to him. You know. Sorry, I'm just thinking. Yeah, a wig about the wig comment, Bluebell. Yeah, yeah. Just the thought of it, isn't it? He could be on the bus. He's sat in front of you. He's got a heavy bag at the side of him, and you're thinking, like you say, Yvonne, it's just heavy shopping, and it's a body or part of a body. He must have had it wrapped up in stuff, like you say, for it not to leak. But how awful to do. That's even worse than killing the guy in the first place. Is this desecration of a corpse, disregard, disrespect, even worse than killing them in the first place, in my opinion. So after calling for uniform backup, officers from our Specialist Operations Branch successfully stopped the bus, and Marcin M. was arrested on suspicion of murder. God, what's he got here? Has he got a bit of the body in there? Where? Oh. Anyway, inquiries quickly established that his housemate, Stuart Everett, had not been seen for a number of weeks, and following forensic DNA testing, Stuart was declared the victim of this heinous crime. Stuart's family, who are not local to Greater Manchester, had not reported him as a missing person. And this is because, so the other thing that he did that was foul, you think, as if it couldn't get any worse. He had assumed Stuart's identity for approximately 3 weeks since the murder. He was sending Stuart's family WhatsApp messages and even birthday cards and gifts. And Stuart's family were misled to believe that he was still alive. So this is the birthday card he sent. Too rich, Happy birthday and all the best, my old man. Benny. Kiss, 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 kiss. That was sent by this MM. Now, why has it got, what's the spade in the corner? Is that, I suppose that's a reference to gardening, but it's quite sinister, really, when you think about it, that he sent this birthday card with a spade on it. Hi, Katie. Isn't it quite sinister to see the spade here? Oh, my God. Awful, awful man. So, Marcin M. and Stuart Everett's home on Worsley Road in Winton was secured for forensic examination. From first glance, no obvious crime scene was present, and it appeared like an ordinary house on an ordinary road. The house had been partially emptied and a skip was present on the driveway. However, during a comprehensive forensic examination by specialist crime scene investigators, the carpet was peeled back in Marcin's bedroom to reveal blood staining through the underlay and into the floorboards. Look at the picture. I mean, it's disgusting apart from, I mean, it's a dirty shithole. Of course. They're often shitholes, aren't they, these places where these murder scenes. Look at the state of that carpet. Anyway, so this is probably where he's cut up the body, bless. You know? Bless him. I don't mean bless Marcin, I mean bless Stuart. So, the carpet was peeled back in his bedroom to reveal blood staining through the underlay and into the floorboards, in addition to tool marks and extensive evidence of a clean-up taking place. They found that Emma used a professional rug cleaner in attempts to clean the blood-soaked carpet, but it was unable to clean one part of the carpet thoroughly enough. To cover this up, he cut a piece of carpet from Stuart's room before covering the obvious cutout with the bed. What, so he just put his bed over all this shit as well? Look at the state of the bed. The nails used to secure the replacement carpet over the bloodstains contained Marcin's DNA, proving he was responsible for covering the crime scene, concealing the crime scene. Makes you feel sick to look at it, just because of the fact that it's so dirty anyway. Through scrutinising M's call history, detectives uncovered he called a white van man for help in removing furniture from the property, and a sofa bed and a fridge freezer were taken to a lock-up in Bury. Through examination of M's mobile phone, the sofa bed was successfully attributed to his bedroom. Now, do you know what? DNA, we talk about it a lot. It is a definite, what's the word? It's a definite, God, I'm sorry, I've just lost track of what I was saying because I started reading the chat. I shouldn't do that. What was I going to say? I've got to go back to that and it'll make me think of it. Oh, yeah, DNA. Definite game changer, isn't it? Because there would have been, years ago, there wouldn't, that sofa bed, they wouldn't have been, able to prove that it was from that flat. So now, these criminals, they don't realise that it's so easy now, or so much easier, I should say. It's not easy. It's painstaking work, isn't it? DNA testing is painstaking. But so now they can actually trace things, and DNA has been a game changer, like air fryers. No, sorry, I'm not being facetious, but it really has, hasn't it? Killers are getting caught, hopefully more frequently than maybe before, because and also the cases are more, what's the word? The cases are more cut and dried because DNA makes it so. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Oh, Katie's been in the funeral industry a long time and worked with cadavers and parts at a surgical college. Ooh. Well, do you know what? I mean, thank God somebody does it, because the funeral industry, do you know what? The funeral industry, uh, we've seen quite a lot lately, and I'm sure you know about it, KD. You'll know more than anyone, having been part of that industry. That it's important that the people that work in that industry are respectful, isn't it? When your loved one dies and you send them to a chapel of rest like a funeral, you expect them to be treated with respect. And unfortunately, just like any profession, this is what I always say, it doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a policeman, a plumber, a carpenter, a Spanish teacher, whatever profession you do, there'll always be some people who aren't too clever in that profession. Mediums is another one, but these nurses, etc. When these people have got a huge responsibility, when they're dealing with, sensitive situations. So unfortunately, they're not all brilliant, are they? But some are and some aren't. Just like you call a plumber, you get a plumber come round, they do a brilliant job, or maybe they won't. But the problem is with like doctors and police and funeral directors, etc. Their jobs are so much more important. I'm not saying that plumbers' jobs aren't important, but it's not a matter of life or death. It's not a sensitive subject, is it? Like I got annoyed when someone made a total cock up of fixing my toilet. But you know what? It's not like it affected my emotional state, or in the same sense of if somebody cocks up your loved one's funeral or doesn't treat their body with respect, or the police don't investigate properly in a case. These things are all more important jobs in that sense, aren't they? Plumber's an important job, but it's not got the same emotional weight. So yeah. Yeah, I wonder if he had. The thing is, who now initially, just going back a little bit on this case. Initially, two men were arrested. So I wonder if the other man was the other person who lived in that place. As far as I know, they had no charges or nothing. I don't even know who they are. The only person that's been charged and found guilty, spoiler alert, is this guy. So yeah, don't forget he had the freezer taken to a lockup and buried. I mean, there might have been body parts in there when that happened. So Stuart's blood was also found on the sofa bed, which is believed to be where his life was taken. Bless him. He was probably sat there watching the telly, comfortable in his own home. You should feel safe in your own home. If you can't feel safe in your own home, where the hell can you feel safe? Anyway, in his interview, he provided minimal information to detectives. Now, I've got a video of his arrest. I think this is perhaps a good time to look at the video of his arrest. I'll find it. This is when he was arrested.
So it's a white male. He's wearing a dark or black coloured beanie hat with what looks like an orange logo on it, a dark grey jacket, lighter grey bottoms, carrying some kind of grey back to life and black trainers.
Mike, I got one matching that description.
Now, I can honestly say I haven't been on a bus for years. Well, I've been on a couple of buses while I've been in Spain, but not many. But, when I lived in Manchester, I used to have to get the bus to work every morning and back, of course. Oh, I was always on the bus. I was on the late night bus coming home from nights out or whatever. And of course, when you're young, you don't really think about it. But I think now if I went on a bus, I would be thinking about who was sat next to me. Oh, imagine being sat next to him, and as I say, maybe when he was on there with his bloody bag for life with body parts in it. Just horrible to think of. And of course, in Manchester, there's loads of buses. And that was something that was quite funny when my son was living in Manchester for a while, over in Stockport. And I went over to visit him, and we were going to where he was working, the Tesco where he was working. And we went to the bus stop, and the buses like coming. Well, there was so many buses, I was overwhelmed. In my little village, I mean, I used to get all those buses and I wasn't overwhelmed when I was young and I was used to it. But now, because I've lived in Spain for so long, in my little village, there's a bus every 2 hours. So there is a bus at least. But seeing all those buses whizzing past. And then when I was in Reading with my friend and I'm running for the bus is coming, and she said, what are you running for it for? There'll be another one in 5 minutes. It's like, oh yeah, it's not like Spain, is it? All those buses, all those people, so many people. I'm not used to being around all those people so much. But, I used to be one of those people that would always get the nutter on the bus. Is that a Peter Kay sketch that talked about that? Where it was, it's like you've got a sign on your head. If you're a nutter, come and sit next to me. Oh, he would definitely have come and sit next to me. No doubt about it. I'd be looking out the window trying to not make eye contact. Because one thing in Manchester, you just didn't make eye contact. Because you make eye contact, they'd be like coming over, sitting next to you, talking to you. But they still sat next to me anyway. I'm like a beacon for the nutter on the bus.
California. Being signed, you're detained for the purpose of a search while we ascertain your identity. Okay.
Or if you could pass me your mobile number for
Just want to look for us.
Well, this group, give us a call, please.
Can you double check, please?
Try to check his pocket.
Thank you. Somebody with a van to collect this potential customer that's going in.
Have you got anything sharp or anything in your
No,
pockets that might hurt?
absolutely, mate.
Okay, it's fine, don't worry, we'll just check and then...
That's the box drop for a van.
It's definitely a mistake. 100%.
I don't appreciate that. All we've had is information passed to us from officers investigating a serious matter as to whether you may be involved.
Something happened and
Just stand there.
Like
Not right now. Not today, but it has happened recently. Okay. It's 12 minutes past 1. It's minutes time. You're under arrest for suspicion of murder. Do you understand the offence? You're under arrest for the meeting time. Okay. Suspicion of murder for an incident which occurred in Salford. All right. So you would take it to police station for a question regarding that.
Okay, I go with you and I answer any questions.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, you're like, what? Oh my God. Now, I just want to tell you as well, he's still saying he doesn't know anything about it and it's all a big misunderstanding, even now he's been convicted.
Yeah, search it over. He has, mate.
So make sure you got nothing in West Brom, right?
Do it again if you want, able.
Right. I've seen that, mate. What's your head?
What's your head?
Yeah, let's just watch that again, actually.
So it's a white male. He's wearing a dark or black coloured beanie hat with what looks like an orange logo on it, a dark grey jacket, lighter grey bottoms, carrying some kind of grey bag for life and black trainers.
Mike, I got one matching that description. California. Being signed, you're detained for the purpose of a search while we ascertain your identity. Okay.
Or if you could pass me your mobile number for
Just want to look for us.
Well, this group, give us a call, please.
Can you double check, please?
Try to check his pocket.
Thank you. Somebody with a van to collect this potential customer that's going in.
Have you got anything sharp or anything in your pockets that might hurt?
Absolutely, mate.
Okay, it's fine, don't worry, we'll just check and then...
That's the box drop for a van.
It's definitely a mistake. 100%.
I don't appreciate that. all we've had is information passed to us from officers investigating a serious matter as to whether you may
but
be
something
involved.
happened and
Just stand there.
like I
Not
told
right
you.
now. Not today, but it has happened recently. Okay. It's 12 minutes past 1. It's minute time. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder. Do you understand the offence? You're under arrest for the meeting time. Okay. Suspicion of murder for an incident which occurred in Salford. All right. So you were taken to police station for a question regarding that.
Okay, I go with you and I answer any questions.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, searching it over. He has, mate.
Still make sure you got nothing in your waistband, mate.
Do it again if you want to, but
Right. I've seen that, mate. What's your head?
what's your head?
Do you know what? I do think these policemen, when saying, "Oh, what's your head?" You feel like smacking him into the thing, wouldn't you? You know, like they've got a lot more restraint than me. That's why I couldn't be a police person or anything like that. You know, I'm not, I couldn't be level enough. I'd get angry. You know, I just, these horrible people. And yeah, the way he was going, what? What? Oh, what, me? Oh my God. And there he is with his bags for life. What a good citizen. Yeah, don't ruin the environment. Oh no, we don't want to ruin the environment. Oh yeah, kill your supposed boyfriend, landlord, or whatever he was. Yeah, kill him, chop him up and distribute him across Manchester. But I'm saving the environment because I've got my bags for life. Oh God, awful. Okay, let's carry on with the police website. So, where are we? So, during his interview, he provided minimal information to detectives through remarkable investigative work that followed. And they did brilliantly in this case. Do you know the police, they may sometimes cock up, but sometimes they do brilliant investigative work, including CCTV, mobile phone analysis, and detectives were able to identify multiple remote locations across Salford and Manchester that Ems visited to deposit further human remains. These journeys were to secluded areas, waterways, country parks. Through extensive searches of land and water across 19 areas, detectives were able to locate Paul Stuart's remains or DNA at 6 locations and found evidence at many more. A total of 19 crime scenes and land searches took place as a result. Each scene was unique and presented its own complexities. This required specialist tactics, skills, resources from across the force to successfully preserve, examine and recover any evidence. Local uniformed officers dedicated hundreds of hours to protect the integrity of the crime and support the community. Our Tactical Aid Unit, Northwest Underwater Search Unit and Police Search Advisors, pulsers, expertly and strategically searched the area. Oh my God, was Peter Folding? Did he not get involved in it? Oh my God, I'm surprised he wasn't there, you know, looking for glory. Crime scene investigators were brought in to recover and capture any evidence in order for detectives to thoroughly investigate what was found and piece together the clues in this complex case. So sad, isn't it? So sad. But you know, it's sad. But what these people did for Stuart, do you know, like to help to bring all of him home. You know, there are some cases that I've covered where, you know, victims were dismembered. These are, apart from children's cases, these are my least favourite cases, if you like, if that's right. You know, dismemberment just it's just so awful. And when families don't get their whole, their whole loved one back, I'm thinking, you know, one that always sticks in my mind is the Lindsay Quay case. You know, Mitchell Quay They never, he murdered his wife, Lindsay, and sort of distributed all over, I think it was Southport sort of area. And they never found her head, bless her. You know, when he finally confessed, because he just, you know, he kept it up for quite a long time. He was on TV and everything saying, oh, no, he never killed Lindsay, nothing to do with him. Then in the end, he broke down, he confessed. And Lindsay, they had to search for Lindsay's remains. That he and his brother, Elliot, was a butcher. And you know what he'd done? As soon as he'd killed Lindsay, he'd phoned his brother. Imagine your brother phoning you and saying, oh, by the way, I've just killed my wife and you know how you're a butcher. Can you come and help me dismember and distribute her remains all over Southport? And you know, his brother Elliot, he's out now, he's free. He should never have been released. Makes me angry. Mitchell is up for parole every year. The family have to go through hell. The victim's family have to go through hell. Will he get released this year? But anyway, Elliot's been out for ages. Hope he's had his karma. So, you know, it's a sort of relief to have somebody to bury us, I suppose, and find out what's happened to your loved one. But imagine not getting all of them back. No, in some ways it doesn't matter. You know, if like me, you believe, I do believe that once someone's soul departs the body, you know, they are sort of gone. But then, you know, if, you know, they're flitting around the universe, you can talk to them at any time, in my opinion. But the thought of your loved one having been cut to pieces and you don't get all the pieces back, just awful. Anyway. Or don't get any of the body back, as happens with so many missing people, murdered people. People don't admit where the body is. So a scene was secured at Blackleach Reservoir on the 27th of April 2024 as mobile phone analysis confirmed that M had been stood at all four corners of the reservoir. Again, this is something that we wouldn't have known years ago. Mobile phone data, brilliant. Detectives requested support from the Northwest Underwater Search Team to scour for evidence. A hacksaw was recovered from deep within the water, which had the victim's blood present on the blade. Remarkably, in one of the most extraordinary findings, the victim's skull was located in 4 separate pieces. 4 pieces in different areas of the reservoir. I mean, this is such a good job they've done on this to recover 4 separate pieces. This man is a complete monster, isn't he? He's a total monster. Really, really is. You know, 4 pieces. How's he done that? How has he done that? Anyway, I seem to have lost my comments. Let's have a look. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, fair play to the police. You know, it's just awful. Oh, God. So here they are. These are the real heroes. They're not grandstanding. They're just going about their job looking for body parts. You know, unsung heroes. Through comprehensive examination, officers working alongside a forensic pathologist were able to reconstruct the skull and prove that Stuart was murdered by multiple blunt force trauma injuries to the head. And the suspect had then cut the skull into 4 pieces, which was discarded at the reservoir in attempts to mask this important fact. Human remains and evidence were successfully recovered from 15 of the 19 search areas and crime scenes in this investigation. Look at his eyes. Look. Ugh. Foul person. Where am I? So human remains and evidence were successfully recorded from 15 of 19 search areas and crime scenes. So obviously they knew where to search, because these would be places that this tosser had been, this twonk. Over a 4-month period, officers recovered approximately 30% of Stuart Everett's body, but tragically, most of his remains will never be recovered. You twonk. No, you could sell what I wanted to say there. I want to put the what a twonk thing up now. What a horrible man. And of course, he is going to hell. Really, literally going to hell. He's got no remorse. He's not even admitting to it. Twat. Sorry, excuse my French. Sorry. So in total, the investigation comprised of 2,000 hours of CCTV footage, 3,000 exhibits, and over 450 witness statements taken in order to build a strong case for trial. Due to the overwhelming evidence recovered, Marcin M., who was born on the 10th of April 1982 of Worsley Road, Eccles, was charged with Stuart's murder in late April 2024. And following a 2-week trial at Manchester Crown Court, he has now been found guilty of murder. His sentencing will occur at a later date. I'm going to have a look in a minute, see what his sentencing was. So, Detective Chief Superintendent Lewis Hughes said this is a case of rarely seen complexity and scale, with detectives initially responding to partial human remains found deep within a secluded wood. But we said from the start that we wouldn't give up, and the victim and their family remained at the forefront of our minds and actions throughout. We've been focused on both ensuring justice in this case, but also ensuring the victim could be returned to his family and laid to rest. We knew from the beginning we had a family somewhere that would one day learn the most distressing news that a family could ever hear. And ultimately, from that moment onwards, our duty was to recover and identify the victim in a respectful and dignified manner. And this was just as important as solving the case and catching the killer. We started with nothing, but today we have secured justice for Stuart Everett, justice in the most challenging of circumstances. The tenacity and professionalism of all officers involved has been exemplary, and they are a credit to the communities of Greater Manchester which they serve. We truly felt the public support throughout this investigation. The concern and compassion shown has ultimately helped us get to where we are today. Hundreds of officers across the force, specialist operations, CSI, detectives and police staff were all motivated to ensure the abhorrent actions of Marcin M. did not go unpunished. So he's going in the sin bin now. I won't be talking about him again or his name. I won't have his name in my mouth, absolute arsehole. But what I am going to be looking at now, let me just see what his sentence was. I hope it was a big one. Please, God. Right, so Martha, let's just put him up that one last time so we can see. No, actually, let's not put him up. Let's put Stuart. So poor Stuart, who won't enjoy another Christmas because that twonk has not only killed him, but also, used his money, just like tried to say to his family was still alive by sending birthday cards and things, you know, done all these terrible things. Let's see what his sentence was. So he was sentenced to life in prison. Yeah, and we know that life doesn't mean life. For the murder of Stuart Everett with a minimum term of, what do you think? Any guesses to his minimum term? What do you think for his minimum term? Let me know what you think. Now, to me, it should just be for the rest of his life, shouldn't it? Why is there, you know, anyway, never mind. Okay, so I don't know. Let's see, somebody just put a comment there. Let's have a look. What have we got? We've got 20 years. Oh, no, there's more. Now, I do think that British sentences have got better. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was thinking, is that because is that one Brexit benefit? Is there a benefit that we don't have to give sentences conditioned by Europe? We can give our own sentences. Yvonne's only said 15. Used to be like that, didn't it, Yvonne? So I don't know. Maybe that is one benefit of being out of Brexit, being out of Europe. If it is, I'm glad. Or maybe just things have moved on. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, David, you're more right. David's more on the right side of it. 34 years, minimum sentence of 34 years. So when was he born? Was it 1982? I think so, 2014. So he's going to be 70 odd before he can even be considered for parole. So, yeah, he was 42 when he was sentenced, which was in March this year, and he's been sentenced to a minimum term of 34 years. It's still not enough, is it? Because you know what? He's not admitting guilt. He's not expressing any remorse. He won't say where the other bits of his victim are. You know, this poor man. And you know what? This man, I feel like he's dead because he was because of being a nice man. Because he wanted a relationship with this guy. I mean, I've seen that happen a few times with people, no matter what their sexuality is, it with men, with women, you know, sometimes people, they just want to be loved. They want to be in a relationship, and their want to be in a relationship clouds their decisions. You know, it's just like they'll turn a blind eye, you know, they'll turn a blind eye to the bad things about someone because they want to be in a relationship, don't they? I think that's a lot of people are like that. I'm the opposite. It's like I don't trust anyone. No, it's not that. I mean, you know, I do feel like I'm the opposite on the cynical side of things. You know, so it's not that I don't want to be in a relationship, but I don't think that's ever going to happen to me now because of things that have happened to me in the past, and now I'm so suspicious, and you know, and I do attract a certain sort of twonk. You know, I've come to realise that empaths often attract narcissists, you know, just because of the net. So you just think, oh God, is it even worth it? You know, it's all right, little casual relationships here and there, but you know, getting into a proper relationship's just. And someone, after my experiences, someone's only got to say to me, what you wearing that for, or why are you going there? And that's it. I'm like, bye. You know, it's just can't cope with it. But I do think there are people like Stuart, just a nice man who wanted to be in a relationship. He was kind, you know, just, you know, at least the life, I hope he had, you know, he had a longish life. He had more life than a lot of people have, but he didn't have as much life as other people have. But I think the worst thing is the way he was betrayed by somebody he cared about, somebody he tried to help, you know. And this M guy, you know, he was just taking advantage of him. It's just horrible. People that take advantage are nasty. Yeah. So I'm so glad that I've managed to tell this story finally. I've wanted to tell the story of Stuart so long. Because Stuart deserves this story to be told. He was a nice person, you know, and he was betrayed by a parasite, by a horrible person. It's just a shame that Stuart couldn't find someone nice like him for a relationship to settle down for his retirement. You know, it's a shame, isn't it? They couldn't manage to do that. There's probably loads of other guys out there that would love someone like Stuart, you know, that want a nice relationship and everything. And unfortunately, he got involved with this guy. And, you know, I've got to show his photo one more time, but I've got to be honest, I don't know what he saw in him either. I mean, he must have been a really good twonk, a really good manipulator, because he just... But you know what? The problem is, really, with people like Stuart, nice people sometimes, they're not cynical, are they? So they only see the good in people as well. They don't see the bad in them. It seems to me that Stuart was one of those people. And, you know, it's always these people that really we need more of them in life. We need more Stuarts in life. Nice people who try and help people, etc. And they're the ones that get taken away, aren't they? You know, bless him. Can you just put a candle up for him? And, yeah, I've been thinking, you know, I know I've finally managed to do this video, but I've thought about Stuart ever since, you know, that guy was found guilty and I saw him being arrested. And I thought about Stuart a lot, and I've just been waiting to get this video out, and I'm glad that I have. And we're all, while we're thinking about Stuart and we're talking about him, we're saying prayers for him. We're lighting a candle for him. And we're respecting the fact that Stuart, he made a difference in this world. He should not be, what's the word, defined by what happened to him in the end. He should be defined by all those nice things that he was. And, you know, the person who did that to him, just never care if we never hear their name again. I hope he has a I hope he has a terrible time in prison. I hope he gets his karma. I hope he gets his comeuppance in prison. I couldn't care less about him. He's got no redeeming features. You know, there's nothing that we think, oh, it wasn't even a crime of passion. They think that poor Stuart was literally just watching the telly on his sofa, weren't having a row, you know, and this guy's just sort of gone out of control or whatever. Wasn't that? He planned it. He planned it. He's a parasite. He's the lowest of the low. Like Erin Patterson. He's a male version of Erin Patterson, isn't he? You know, planned it for his own, you know, whatever, his own benefit, really. Killed a nice person. I mean, Erin did worse. She killed 3 nice people, and tried to kill another one. But this guy's just the same as Erin. He's a male version of Erin. Selfish. Deserves everything that's coming to him. And whatever comes to him in prison, you can bet, you know, and I really do believe it, when he passes into the next world, be even worse. And he'll be scared. These killers, they're always scared when it comes to passing. You know, we're all a bit scared of death, aren't we? Because, you know, not that I've ever done anything like what he's done, but, you know, I haven't been an angel all my life. I would be lying if I said that. I've done quite a few things that I feel sorry for. So we're all a little bit nervous about what happens, aren't we? Unless you just don't believe in God at all or believe in an afterlife at all, then you wouldn't care, would you? Because it'd just be like, well, you know, there's nothing. But if you believe in an afterlife at all, you know, we're all a little bit worried about it because, you know, we've all sort of done things that maybe we're not so proud of, not like what he did, of course. But we have all done some things, and you know, we know we're going to have to pay for them sooner or later. But a lot of us, of course, we did them in our youth, or we did them years ago, or we did them when we were vulnerable, or whatever. Maybe we did things that we're not quite proud of, but we regret them now, you know, and we pray for forgiveness. I'm always praying for forgiveness. As I say, not from sort of thing that this horrible man did, but you know, just all, you know, if you read my Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, you'll know what I mean. You know, just things that we do. You know, we're always maybe do things, as I say, get involved in relationships we shouldn't. Just do things that we shouldn't do because we're all human. We're all human, but we don't do things like this. Okay. Yeah. I don't think there are more evil people now. There are more people, of course. I mean, what we have to remember is there are more people just generally now. And also, like when I was young, you'd only get to hear what happened in my town or in Manchester even. There's a lot of people in Manchester than there was now. But now, you know, I get to hear about what happens all over the world. You know, the world's a huge place. So, you know, I don't believe there are more evil people than there were. I think there's always been evil people. I think the other thing is a lot of evil people would hide themselves in wars and things. You know, war, when people go to war, they do terrible things, don't they? And they cover up their psychopathic tendencies, I think. And of course, now in a lot of the countries that I talk about, there are no wars. You know, people. There's always been psychopaths, always, 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 always. You know, and in fact, the golden era of the serial killer was like 70s and 80s, wasn't it? In America, etc., UK. So I don't know that I think there are more evil people. I just think we do get to hear about them more. But anyway, don't know. Need to do a bit of investigation into it, I suppose. Okay, thank you so much. I'm off. I'm going to put my books on, I think, for the end because I don't do that very often now. And some of you will just think, oh, God, not her books again. But thank you for caring about Stuart, even if you don't care about learning Spanish or hearing about me. Thank you for caring about Stuart. That's the most important thing. I'll see you really soon in the next video. I'm going to put I'm quite liking these. So thank you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And as always, may your God go with you. God, they've changed all the layout. It just takes me quite a long time to find it. Bye. Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Did you ever want to know a little bit more about me and my background, how I came to become interested in true crime, how I ended up in Spain being a Spanish teacher, If you want to know a little bit about me, a little bit more about me as a person, you can find my book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, on any Amazon site, wherever you live in the world. And I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and this is my story. So it's the story of how I grew up in Manchester in the UK on a council estate, and very humble beginnings, and my journey through personal tragedies, disastrous romances, and triumphs to become a single mum, a Spanish teacher, and an interpreter living in Spain, and eventually a YouTuber reporting on true crime. So it details my various experiences with people and places over 20 years of teaching, over 20 years now. Ooh, where did that go? Of teaching Spanish and interpreting through the backdrop of the recession, financial uncertainty, severe flooding, and living through COVID. I hope you will find it funny, sad, amazing, silly, serious, and stranger than fiction at times. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to make you angry at least once. I hope to make you cry at least twice, and I hope to make you laugh many, many times. So thank you for all your support on my YouTube channel, and if you want to know a little bit more about me as a person, then you can find out there. So thank you so much. See you very soon in the next video. And as always, till then, may your God go with you. Bye.
Oh, you Vicky Marie, you're so dream, you're so bold. Your YouTube world is the purest gold. With